Okay, so So calling the meeting to order at 7:02 on June 12th. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our June meeting, or maybe our busiest month ever in terms of all of our activities. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. So that was May 8th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
Christina?
Okay, thanks. And is there a second?
A lot of changes.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I think we can just second the motion and then have discussion and we can make the changes then? Or am I wrong about that?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so is there a
And then
second? So we just need a second to approve the minutes and then we'll have discussion.
Second, Shannon.
Thank you. Any
And then
discussion?
Claudia, once the discussion ends, then there'd be a move to approve them as amended.
Yes, thank you. So my learning curve on Robert's rules. Okay, Sharon, I heard you say you had some, and hello, Representative Lucy Dathan. Thank you for joining us. We'll be with you very soon.
Yep. Okay, so I'll go really quick. Page 1, my name is misspelled wrong. It's B-A-A-N. Page 2, just, I don't even know what to say. This was like the Diversification of Boards and Commissions Committee, like just completely remove it. I talked about, because I have notes before I speak, and I just looked at them. I talked about the City 101 event and Claudia, you reaching out to LaToya. So I did just remove that whole section because it's not accurate at all. Page 3, just to add at the bottom, to add Pride in the Park, that was talked about. Page 4, under diversification on boards and commissions, third sentence, to delete openings are now posted for the following boards. Just delete that and just write Sharon reviewed an opening on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And that's it. Thanks.
Can I go now? Okay, so page 2, I mean, this kind of goes to what was just said about the diversification of boards, but I believe Miss Riordan Garcia is supposed to be me, but I did not present. I'm not on that committee, so just to clarify that. And then my name is spelled correctly in the attendance, but throughout it's Riordan Garcia, it's Rendon Garcia. So that's like the whole, all of the notes. On page 2, under outreach and civic engagement committees, I did not report about the connections made on Saturday because I was not there on Saturday. I'm not sure who that was instead. And I should be mentioned in the page 3 at the top when talking about when the screenshot is shown. I was walking everyone through those edits, and I believe that's it.
I'm just noticing a quick one on page 2 towards the bottom. Vicky Otis, her last name is spelled incorrectly. It should be Oatis.
And Claudia Connor's last name is spelled incorrectly throughout the document.
Yeah, I wonder, thanks, Yvonne. I mean, we've had a lot of, some of the comments that are being made are new and relative to specific things that were said or not said at our last meeting in May, but some of them are repeat things like the spelling of my name. So I'm not sure if there's some way we could maybe just write up the spelling of all of our names and provide them to Telesco, or Michelle, do you have some guidance on that?
I would say it's on the city, all the names are on the city website under boards and commission on the Commission of the Status of Women. So if you have any questions, Telesco, they're all spelled out there.
Because I think some of it seems to be a carryover from month to month, you know, and they like, I think Sarah, you said that it was correct in the attendance, but then incorrect throughout the body of the minutes. So I think it may just be kind of a carryover, but. Okay, any other corrections or comments on the minutes from the May meeting?
So yes, they, and the outreach and civic committee engagement, collaboration on page 2. So what, was, let's see, the person who made the report with the connections on Saturday was, myself and Ashley. And yes, the, screenshots were taken by Sarah, Brandon Garcia. So they flipped the names there.
Thanks, Yvonne. Any other comments or corrections? Okay, so seeing no more, is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended? Excuse me. I see Ashley nodding. Is that a motion? Okay. All right. So just for purposes of our minutes, yes, Ashley Gulyas made the motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. All in favor of approving the minutes as amended, assuming you were at the meeting in May, please raise your hand or say aye. So if you can keep your hand up, I'm just going to read it out for the purpose of the minutes. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Sarah, Shannon, Claudia, Yvonne, Sharon, Ashley, and Christina, and Jasmine. All right, so all against, that may have been everybody. Any abstentions? All right, Shannon, your hand is still up. Is that an abstention? No, okay, I take that as a no. So no abstentions. Okay, so with the minutes, so that motion passes, and yeah, hopefully we can get cleaner minutes going forward. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Michelle, is there anybody waiting to speak with us?
Yes, Diane Laura Sella is here. I'm gonna unmute you, Diane.
Can you see me or you just have audio?
We
I
can
would suggest that this, especially with Michelle Woods Matthews, who's the city's spin doctor, that you really look for seeing our faces so you can see how earnest I am as being a big fan of this commission. Every board and commission by this point should have the ability to put on video, and it's starting, but it should be across the board. Good evening, commissioners and staff, and Representative Dathan. I know you've worked hard. I've admired you from afar, and when you're up in Hartford, look forward to hearing from you. I am speaking briefly tonight because I do get a sense that each of you are working diligently and in earnest on each of the committees or subcommittees that I see listed in your minutes. I've been told, though, to wait while we can wait for this august group to be able to speak to the administration about some very important things that I know you all believe in, especially the diversification of boards and commissions committee. That was the original reason why I wrote a letter, I think over a year ago, relating to my experiences and other women on how they are treated at board and commission meetings, and also the public when they are women that come up and speak about controversial issues. Well, life is short. COVID taught us that we have to be thankful for every day we're alive. But I am really getting concerned at the length of time that I have had to wait for any kind of movement on the issues I brought to this wonderful board over a year ago. On the issue of appointment, I still see what I'm calling intrinsic bias by both men and women, where women are not even, there isn't a functioning way to let women know about openings, especially on boards that have no women or one woman. The Board of Estimate, Shellfish, Harbor Management, most recently, the Bike Walk Commission, of which I have a lot of esteem for. The last two people that have been placed on there under the radar are two men. And the thing is, I think it's just because people feel comfortable with people they know from their club, or they see biking, or they see on the Shellfish. And that is what we don't want to see happen, where it's just people are comfortable and they never reach out to anyone that is different. So I ask again that the training for the staff and the commissioners and committee members and the agencies happen sooner rather than later. That that you consider having at least one or two male members on your commission, because I think they could offer some really good information. I think lastly, for any openings, we shouldn't just depend on the city website. I have said before, the Newtown Bee, where I went to high school, in their local paper, and even in Darien and Stanford, they actually have an article that says when openings occur. And that would at least open up, while you are doing your work, it would at least offer to the council and the mayor additional resumes. Right now, the system is still broken. I am still suffering. And I'm not a whiner. I always try to put forth positive solutions, but I do have a limit to my patience and to my willingness to keep trying to help my city. Women like me that bring up controversial issues are just trying to help. I always try to bring things up in a very civil way. It has not been easy, even though I am a Democrat. I've been in Norwalk for 40 years. I've endured all sorts of administrations, and I still will come to you in the future. The DEI person was supposed to get in touch with me, and she never did. I fell through the cracks. So I will be writing a letter to her and her boss. It's
Diane.
just not the way I know you intend it. Please hear my thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane. I didn't mean to cut you off. We were trying to keep the comment to 3 minutes. So thank you very much. And I would also, the presentation that has been shown multiple times at our meetings, which I think you could see in the recordings of past meetings, which is the presentation by the Diversification of Boards and Commissions Committee, does show significant progress, some of which addresses some of the issues that you raised. But really, thanks for your comments. Michelle, is there anybody else waiting to speak?
No, I don't believe so. Thank you, Diane. We really appreciate your comments also.
Okay, so then we'll move on to new business. And our first item is welcoming Representative Lucy Dathan. So I'll turn it over to Michelle to officially welcome you.
Yes, thank you so much, Representative Dathan. I just wanted to share a little bit of background about Representative Dathan, who must be exhausted from session just ending. So thank you so much for lending your time. Representative Dathan is the state rep for the 142nd district. So she represents parts of New Canaan and Norwalk, and she served since 2019. During her tenure, she served as vice chair of the legislature's Appropriations Committee and is also a member of the Human Services and Insurance and Real Estate Committees. For her new legislative term, this past term that ended, she was appointed as vice chair of the Human Services Committee and as Democratic chair and leader of the Bipartisan Regulations Review Committee. And she also just finished continuing to serve on the Appropriations Committee. And she has graciously offered to give us legislative updates right in the nick of time. Fresh, how do you say it? Fresh off the press.
Hot off the press, as I'll say.
Hot off the press. Thank you. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for organizing it. And thank you so much to this commission. It's so great to see you all in action. I know I've spoken to so many of you over the years, and you're doing such great work and doing a great job here in Norwalk to really further, what we need as women in our community. So thank you for taking that leadership role, and I'm delighted and honored that you asked me to come talk to you. I think Michelle summed up my background a lot. I will make sure that you all have my email because I do love to hear from you. Would love for you to sign up for my mailing list so you can hear what's going on in the Capitol. But also, if there are things that you are concerned about and do want to hear ways that I can help, be more than happy to help out. As Michelle mentioned, we have just finished last Wednesday at midnight our legislative session. So I'm just kind of coming up for air today, trying to send lots of emails and catch up because the last week has been really, really chaotic trying to get things done. And really just wanted to share kind of where we are with the legislative session. I know one of the emails that I have heard a lot about from women in our state, particularly in our district, is the one of the bills that we just passed about 2 weeks ago and has been sent to the governor waiting for his signature. And this is to change the minimum age to be eligible to marry to 18 and above. And really there was a lot of, people were concerned about people who were being coerced to marry, maybe were pregnant or had issues that had that sort of pressure from their families to do it. And for anyone that's been involved in women's issues, we hear from domestic violence survivors that they cannot get into a domestic violence to get services until they're 18 or above. And so really we need to make sure that we protect women and do what we can to help victims of domestic violence. So that was really one of the reasons. And Connecticut was actually one of a handful of states that didn't have a minimum age to marry of 18 or above. We had just changed it, I think it was about 6 years ago, from there was no age limit up to 16, and that was changed just a couple of years ago. So we're just taking it to the next stage that's further. And I do not hear anything from the governor saying that he wouldn't sign it. It's just one of those things that there is always a little bit of a time lag from the ending of the legislature to when the governor does sign these things. So I would suspect that he will be signing this in the coming days. Today, he signed one of the things that I've been very involved with, and Michelle talked a little bit about that with my involvement in the Appropriations Committee. I have served as the vice chair of the committee in the past. This year I was just a member, but was very involved in putting together the budget, particularly in the human services side of things. And we had some really exciting things that did get passed as part of our budget process that really are furthering women and women-owned businesses in our state and other sort of services that really affect women in general. First of all, we have a fund that has been set up in bonding for women and minority-owned businesses that are going to be helping those sort of groups get funding and kind of get initially started, which is exciting. I'm sure all of you have heard of the Women's Business Development Council, WBDC, based right in Stanford. They are a phenomenal organization that really promotes women-owned businesses in our state. And they have been given a grant of $800,000. And this is something that in my role is in the Development and Conservation subcommittee was one of the key things that I was advocating for, along with some other of the legislative kind of leaders in this. Senator Miller from from Stanford. We also have Senator Hartley and a whole bunch of other women legislators in our state that really get a lot of hear about all the exciting things that WBDC does in their communities. And just to kind of follow on some of the appropriation side of things, and I'm just referring to my notes because I don't have all of this to memory. We've extended our earned income tax credit, and this has been something that we have been really active and really target sort of lower income families, particularly families with income up to $50,000 for families of four. And this really helps our lowest earning workers and families to make sure that they are able to really get additional help to make life more affordable. We have done additional tax cuts, which I'll be sharing more information about that in some of my end of session events. But really to continue to talk about what we've done for women and families in our state is to really talk about educational funding, and not just the sort of ECS funding that we all know about. Expanding debt-free community college and making sure that it's not just the first-time community college folks who are able to be part of this, but really to anybody who wants to maybe have started a secondary education and had to give up because of having children or doing other things. And this gives them the opportunity to do that on a debt-free basis, which is super important. We've increased funding for special education. We have also really been focusing on early education, particularly around childcare providers. And we have put additional investment to help with those, because we understand that, if, childcare does fall on us women a lot more than it does to our male counterparts. But having those sort of early educational investments are super important. And if you have reliable, strong daycare and your kids are happy, we know we all thrive much better in the workforce as a result of seeing our kids happy. So that's been one of our exciting investment. And one of the things that I have definitely seen is, I had this intuitively known before, but a lot of our child care providers are women-owned businesses. And so increasing those rates also helps women-owned businesses in our state, which is another sort of extra added benefit of that. We've talked about a little bit about additional ECS funding, which is going to help all of our children in getting their good educational programs. And then also looking at some of the other thing, helping folks that maybe have been on Medicaid for the last several years. And a lot of women and lower income families have been on Medicaid and are rolling off Medicaid due to the ending of the public health emergency. And so we put in additional funding to help those people get stabilized insurance, because we all know how important it is to have healthy family. And if we're healthy, we're able to really kind of keep an eye on our family. Probably one of the things that I'm most, and I'm going to let you all ask questions in a second, but I did want to share probably my biggest, I feel is my biggest accomplishment in this legislative session, which is my work that I did on 5001. 5001 is our House bill that is our #1 priority bill for the Democratic caucus. And after the election, I received a call from our speaker, and he said, Lucy, I want you to lead up this initiative. And it was such an honor to receive that. One, because when you get the call from the speaker, you're like, okay, yeah, he knows who I am. But two, to lead up his number one priority. And his number one priority this legislative session was the investment in getting folks off the wait list to receive services for folks that are in the IDD community. These are the intellectually developmentally disabled. And this is both kids and young adults and adults with autism or other sort of profound sort of developmental issues. And Connecticut is one of a handful of states where we have long waiting lists. And a lot of it's due to, budget issues that we've had over the last several decades. And we decided we need to make figure out how we're going to get folks help. And what I have seen in this work that I have done is hearing from so many mothers because they feel like they cannot be working and doing what they want to do because they're having to take care of their adult children who are not able to get services. So this investment is really directly helping Connecticut families and really helping women in our state be able to support their families and be able to also get that respite time. Families that have adult children of autism really need to have that sort of downtime, if you will. And also, our young families who have kids on the spectrum, they need to have a pathway to know that their children, as they age out of the educational system, are going to be able to receive services as they get older. So this has been super important. We have a very long waiting list. We have over 2,000 people in our autism community that are waiting to get services. And we have about 600 people in our developmentally disabled population waiting to get services. We can't get everybody seen starting July 1st. Sorry. But we will be working to it. In the bill that we did actually establishes the framework to make sure that we can ameliorate the wait list over time. So I feel like I've been talking way too much, and I am here to answer your questions. I know I've had a lot of people on this call reach out to me about questions regarding environmental things and, other sort of budget items, things around voting. And it's really, there has been got a lot going on, and I'm still kind of the dust is still settling, and we're still trying to figure out what the Senate passed and what the House passed to make sure that we are all there. So, there are several hundred bills that have been passed, as we say, in concurrence, meaning both chambers have done it. And so far, we have not heard anything from the governor saying he is not going to sign anything that we have passed. So all good news there, but happy to answer questions. So thanks. And I hope I didn't take too much time of your precious meeting time. Sharon,
Hi
nice
there.
to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm always amazed by the amount of work that you do, especially having such a big job at the same time, and you're a mom. And so thank you. Thank you. I just had a really quick question about, I think this was actually the last legislative session, a bill that you co-sponsored regarding free menstrual products in middle school and high schools. So my question is, what is the status of that? When will that be implemented? And then also, have they considered that kids, because of COVID, have been getting their periods in 4th and 5th grades as well?
That's a great question. In fact, we actually put together additional funding for the diaper bank, which actually has been sponsoring you know, especially in sort of schools before the mandate has taken effect. They have been helping out in communities with those products. So we all know, you know, it happens at various ages, and you know, the more and more I'm talking to people, it's happening to kids earlier, you know, 4th and 5th grade, as you pointed out. The mandate does take in effect as of, I think, July 1st this year. So starting next fall, when our kids go back to school, they will be able to get them. I know most kids are able to go to the nurse's office and get these products. But I know my daughter, and I'm sure others, are embarrassed. So they would like to make sure that they're kind of in the ability to get them in their bathrooms and not have to go and ask people. And so I'm looking forward to hearing how it is going to be working in for everybody. But I'm excited to have that as part of our sort of fall. And I think one of the things, just to kind of for folks that maybe are not as familiar, you know, we talk a little bit about period poverty. And this is really affects girls who, you know, just don't have the funds to be able to buy these sort of sanitary products, and end up having to stay home and not going to school. And the amount of learning that's lost as a result of not being able to go to school is huge. And really, it's an investment for us to show for our girls that we can, you know, they can get these products, they can come to school, and they can not have to miss anything, because we know how much easier it is for them to get the instruction in school and to kind of stay on top of it rather than fall behind. And if you think about it, if it happens every single month, you know, it just adds up to a lot of time out of the classroom. And plus also, you know, many kids have need that sort of social interaction that school provides outside of just learning everything that we need to learn. You know, kids have really fallen behind socially, and this is something for them to keep them in school and to make sure that they can stay on top of things socially as well. So thank you for asking about that.
Thank you, Lucy.
I just want to, so thank you for that. That's so important. And we've talked a lot about that. So it's wonderful to hear, and it would be great to think about how the commission can really celebrate that and kind of make sure that the community, our community, knows about that. But I also wanted to thank you, in addition to thanking you for joining us, but really for your support on the bill about the minimum age for child marriage, because the commission did do a lot of advocacy around that, including submitting written testimony to the Judiciary Committee and outreach to the committee members. And then the process sort of went much more quickly than we expected, and really thrilled when it was passed. So thank you for your support of that. And yeah, I mean, I would, there might be other questions or comments, but I would just say, you know, going forward, if if there are things that come to your attention that you think would be of interest / relevance to this commission in Norwalk in particular, but you know, more broadly, but if you could bring it to our attention, and then we can, because I know some of the commissioners are very actively involved and follow what's going on in Hartford, but if we can really stay out in front of bills that might be where we could really try to elevate our voice and the voice of our community, that would be great. So.
Well, thank you, Claudia. I think one of the things that, you know, I always love to hear from women-owned businesses, and there are so many in Norwalk, and I've had the pleasure of going to different businesses. In fact, I'm actually working on a tour with the Lieutenant Governor, trying to organize some of the women-owned businesses in Norwalk right now that have received funding from the Women's Business Development Council. We need to support, you know, our fellow women who are entrepreneurs and who are getting out there. So, if you do know women-owned businesses, please put them in the direction of the WBDC. There are other sort of community investment funds that are funds for everybody, but I love to hear about Norwalk women getting access to those funds. So supporting each other, sharing that information, I think is super important. So that we can ensure that we grow our women-owned businesses, because I think it is crucial.
Great, thanks. Other questions or comments?
I just wanted to say thank you, Representative. I know I was at the groundbreaking this morning, so I know you've been all over the place today. So we appreciate your time speaking to us tonight, and it was really interesting to be able to, especially the child marriage bill that Claudia really worked hard on, but we all were able to see a result, which is always so nice. And we really appreciate you guys keeping us in the loop that we could advocate for it. We look forward to helping with anything else that comes down the pike.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, there's a lot of other exciting things that we've done, around workforce advancement and development. And the Office of Workforce Strategy has done some exciting things. Again, this is really for everybody, but, I always love to support women-owned businesses. We hear a lot about healthcare in the state, so advocating for folks to get better healthcare, I think, is always important. And sharing that. I think one other thing that I have heard quite a bit in our communities is really regarding gun violence, and I know it affects everybody, but again, we really need to make sure that we do what we can as a legislature to ensure that our state is safe, and we've done some exciting measures. And the governor is going to be signing, I think, any day, the bill that he put forward around community gun violence, and making sure that we prevent any unnecessary gun violence in our communities. And I know that affects everybody, not just women, but this is something I hear more often from women than I do from men about how important safe gun laws are in our state. And I know many people I've seen here at Moms Demand Action events and other things. So those things are important. And again, we've talked a lot about reproductive freedoms in the past, and that's I've received several emails from your your group on that, and ensuring that we continue to have access. One of the things that and I think it's passed both chambers, is the ability for our college students to be able to get protection, not just at the sort of nurse or doctor's community. I get health centers that they have in college campuses, but also to be able to access sort of Plan B through vending machines and other ways. So things like that have been super important, and I've heard from folks all about those as well. So I'm happy to put my email in the chat if that's the best thing to do. Michelle, I don't know if you want to maybe just share with the group later, or what the best way to do is.
Yeah, I'll share it with the group. For some reason, our chat is disabled, but I will absolutely share it with the group.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your insight and time and great accomplishments with your colleagues.
Thank you. And I'm going to be having a Norwalk, really focusing on the 142nd, but all of Norwalk is invited, of course, anybody that wants to come. Just kind of a legislative summary event coming up in the coming weeks. and just working on trying to get everything scheduled. So hopefully I'll see some friendly faces there. Hope you have a good evening, everyone. And thank you again.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. All right, so the next item on new business is the introductory presentation. So I put something together after a discussion with the outreach committee several months ago, and then shared it at the last outreach committee. So I'm going to endeavor to share my screen to show it to you. And in the interest of time, I'll walk through it kind of quickly and then email it to everybody. So can you all see that? Let me try to get
Yep.
like to get the, can't move the bar to get to the well, all right, we'll just go. Okay, so I was going to try to go to presentation mode, but anyway, we'll just do it this way. All right, so it's just basically the information that is on our flyer, which is the same kind of, a lot of information that's in our bylaws. And so just quickly, oh, I've got, okay. So we have the purpose, and again, I'm gonna not read it to you. You can read it to yourselves. Our goals, noting that the commission was reinstated in October of 2021 by Mayor Rilling. Kind of what our, we're undertake education, research, investigation, advocacy activities. So again, this is largely pulled from our purpose statement and bylaws, membership and officers. So I did put 11 here. We do have vacancies, but I think it's important to note what their full composition consists of. And then noting at the bottom that we have 2 officers, a chairperson and a vice chairperson, selected from among the commissioners and serve for 1 year. That we have, as of our last commission meeting, we agreed to merge the outreach and the research committees. So we have 2 committees, the Diversification of Boards and Commissions Committee and the Community Outreach and Civic Engagement Committee. When our meetings take place, the names of the current commissioners and our staff person, Michelle, and my contact information. And that's really it. So it's very brief. The purpose of this was really, several people had talked about having something that, if folks go to a meeting or an event and just want to be able to, I'm going to stop sharing. To be able to bring just something quick as a snapshot. I mean, we now do have this beautiful flyer, which has all the same info, which is really helpful. But I know, for example, Yvonne had attended a couple of meetings with prospective partners, and even if we just show it on our laptop to like one-on-one with somebody. So, so that was really the idea of it, or the idea for it, I should say. So I welcome any discussion now or questions or suggestions for sure. But I will email it to you. And so maybe it makes sense to take a look yourself at your convenience and come back to me with any thoughts about things you feel like should be different. I'm also totally happy to change the format. I took the current logo from the from the city logo, which I know is changing, and just pulled the colors from that. I don't know if there's I know the diversification committee had used one format, and I don't know if there's sort of a standard format or if we'd like to make them look the same. But anyway, I did it on a day when I was feeling a little creative. So I see Sharon laughing. Okay. So I will email it out, and then please just send feedback and we can make changes. All right, the next, unless you want me to stop, but I know we're kind of getting up to 8 o'clock, so I'll just keep going. Documentary, Take the Ice. So Shannon, I'm gonna see if you have any updates on that.
This is why meeting minutes are so important. So when people forget what they raised their hand for, we can be reminded of it. I will follow up with the woman who did the documentary, and I know we were targeting that for fall regardless, but I'll report back at the next meeting, or if I have any information in the meantime, I'll send it around.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Item D is efforts to celebrate any legislation passing. So I think the idea here was the child marriage bill, which was, I don't know, Michelle, you put this on the agenda, so I should defer to you to see if there was something else you were thinking.
Yeah, no, I think to Representative Dathan's point, a lot of bills haven't been signed yet, right? But it was just proposing the idea if, you know, even when bills pass, it doesn't mean that the public knows about them, right? So if you all were just interested in further advocacy, but also where, you know, I can pass along information as I see it. There's nothing in particular, but there's also so many bills that were passed. So it's just, I think, something to keep in mind for further publicity and advocacy if you guys see fit.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. You know, even a letter or an opinion piece to the Norwalk Hour or something like that, or on social media, just celebrating, like, once they're signed, sort of a list of things that kind of align particularly with our purpose and mission would be great.
It sounds, even just to bring up one idea that you brought up, Claudia, the menstrual bill. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, that goes into effect in July. I know we've talked about it in the past, but just something to think about as it goes into effect.
Yeah, agreed. So maybe we can bring like a proposal. Well, we can see, I don't know what the timeline is on that, but maybe to our next meeting, we can have some concrete proposal to on specifically what we could do to kind of mark and celebrate some of those. The next item under new business is diversification of boards and commissions committee.
Yep, just to address specifically what's on here. As you guys know, you can apply online now. We're still working on the transparency in the application process. And that's needs to be done before we market it more to the public. And yes, things take time, but that's just to address that. We're still working on a couple things with the city.
And now there's an automatic response when someone does apply, so that they've there's communications with them and someone else.
That's great. Thanks for the updates, Sharon, and that information too, Michelle. Any questions or comments for Sharon? Okay. So still on new business, community outreach and civic engagement committee upcoming table surveys. So I know in old business will update on the Pride in the Park event, but maybe is there anybody who can talk about upcoming events?
I can just add that we still haven't been able to get in contact with the Sona Arts Fest. I think we're still waiting for the date on any Juneteenth celebrations, and the police department event that happens in September, I think, or August. And then there was, I think it fell through the cracks because Melody was helping out with this, but we were going to look into the farmers markets, which I see Ashley's going to update us on in a second. And then the other one that we can think about is the Oyster Fest. That's in September. And I'm trying to think if there was one more. I think that's all we had for now.
I believe there is something for Juneteenth on the green this Saturday. I don't really have any other details other than that it's this Saturday.
It's from 4 to 8 on the green this Saturday.
And for the farmers market, I can pick up communicating with Erica for Erica, the director of programs at FCC. If you can give me what date or dates you would like to target, just so I know we had talked about maybe once a month or maybe twice over the whole season. I believe the first farmers market is July 8th. So once I know what dates we'd like to reserve, I can reach out to Erica about that and pick that up where Melody left off.
I'm wondering, this is maybe something like the I can't remember the name of the outreach committee. Maybe we should because I kind of want to know how the Pride data collection went, because I'm also thinking a lot of the people that we're going to be collecting data from similar people. So then we might have to think about saying to people, if you've already done this, don't do it again. And we haven't thought about that. So maybe we want to see how much we got at Pride, if it was helpful, and then be a little bit more strategic about what other events we do. Because if we keep doing the farmers market, again, we're going to get similar people.
Yeah, we got a lot of response at Pride. I feel like we got a lot of non-resident, and I feel like at the farmers market, we'll get more targeted resident response. But I agree, it doesn't necessarily make sense to do the farmers market very often because it does tend to be the same folks each week.
I remember us discussing only twice in the season, maybe at the beginning, at the end, or something like that. And maybe we can check on dates with the committee.
Would you like me to put together a really quick doodle to send around just to see what dates people would even be available? And then that can inform which dates I ask Erica about. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to do any date that we want. I don't think that all the spots have filled up for that stuff at the farmers market. So maybe I'll send, would that be okay if I sent everyone a quick poll with the Saturdays in July and just tell me which ones you could do? It's not committing to doing it, but just and then we'll pick the one that has the most even possible availability.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, Ashley.
Okay.
I also think
Actually,
that,
I just wanted,
go
sorry.
ahead. No,
sorry, I should have raised my hand. My apologies. Ashley, are we talking about, and I know you're sort of picking up where we left off, are we talking about the farmers market on the green or other farmers markets in town? Just that one?
We were specifically talking about the farmers market in front of FCC on the green, the church, because they have they have a spot set aside for some kind of community outreach each week.
Okay, all right. Because that's the other piece of it, is if we did do a different farmers market, like that one plus another one maybe in the Rowayton area, that would also get different target audience. Because I really appreciate Sarah's point about trying not to ask the same people over and over. So I think that's a really important strategy to try to get hold of. I'm not recommending I have a solution right now, but
no, I think that's a great point. I don't have, part of doing FCC also is I have a contact with them. I don't know anyone else who does the farmers markets, the other farmers markets around.
I mean, I think there's also value in tabling at the farmers market and maybe not doing the survey, or doing it in July, but not in August. And maybe by then we'll also have, the film scheduled or a civic engagement event scheduled. And so we have these beautiful flyers, and we could have another flyer and just, talk to people about it. I see it as a visibility opportunity for the commission. So that's another way to look at it, So yeah, Ashley, if you do the doodle poll, that would be great. And then we can just take it from there. Thank you. Michelle, go ahead.
I was just looking through my emails because the police night out date was announced. And I believe I will forward it to you. I just want to confirm that the subject of this email is correct. It says August 15th, but let me just triple check, but I'll email that out too.
And I think that would be a great event to get a very different audience.
And I do have sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure it'd be very, very easy to table there too. I'm sure they would love to have you all.
When we get to old business, I do have the totals, Sarah and others from Saturday. So before we move on, though, I just want to, while we're still on old business for the committees. For the outreach committee, our next meeting falls on Juneteenth. And so it is a holiday, and wanted to just ask if, and maybe we could take that offline for the committee members, but I just wanted to flag that. We could still meet, or we could postpone it a week, but maybe rather than wasting time, like sort of taking everyone's time, we could just have that discussion offline, but just to bring it up. Okay.
One other thing I realized when you did your presentation, Claudia, for whoever is giving out flyers at future tables, I realized Saturday at Pride, I didn't condense us back to 2 committees. So if anyone is asking, the research committee, and combined, it's still on our flyer, and we have lots of copies of them, so sorry.
That's all right. We can verbally engage people and tell them. So the last item under new business is commission members. So Michelle, can I call on you for that? Or I can.
Yeah, if you don't mind going forward, I just got lost in my police night out email.
Okay, so sorry. Yes,
No, it's
sorry
okay.
to put you on the spot. So just 2 quick items. One is that, as I think most of you know, Melody has resigned from the commission. She emailed Michelle and just said that she had has just her work commitments have gotten really voluminous, and she had a lot of travel coming up, so she stepped down a couple of weeks ago. So we do have 2 vacancies. The mayor has received, as per the agenda, a few applications to consider, and I don't have any additional information other than that. Michelle, was there anything else you wanted to say about that?
No, I think, sorry, I don't know what that background noise was. Now it's my dog, but no, per usual, always great to recruit new folks and ask them to apply, but the mayor is reviewing resumes. So thanks for everyone's great work in recruiting a few people. We'll keep you posted.
Michelle, does our not our meaning individually, but ours as a commission? And if you don't know the answer to this, just let me know. But where or how does our as a commission's endorsement of candidates come into play?
Everything
goes to the diversification committees.
Yeah, everything's up to the discretion of the
Fabulous.
mayor. But you know, every recommendation helps and I think is important. So per usual, I think it's good to send an email and share your recommendations. But yes, up to the mayor's discretion, but I know he appreciates that. And they can be sent to me or Irene, or even him.
Can we advocate for an answer by the next meeting, since our last meeting was a month ago and it was mentioned?
You can do whatever you want, but it's still up to the mayor,
Oh, no, I know, but I'm just wondering if time-wise we could indicate when our next meeting is, and that we've already, we've been down some commissioners for a period of time and would like to try to get someone on board in advance of the next meeting, also to really start the fall with a full commission.
Yeah, I can pass along that message. There's a process, and the applicants, as you guys know, have to go to a common council meeting, and they have to, be spoken about. So, but we can definitely pass that along, that you'd like to fill those vacancies as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Sorry, I was muted. Anything else on that? Okay, moving to old business. So for the outreach committee, update on Pride in the Park. So I will show you the data that we got. So but I wanted to start by saying just a massive thank you to everybody. Sarah put together these beautiful plastic bins, each of which was marked with each of the issues, all the little paper tokens, resident, non-resident, how people identify, plus really cool, colorful envelopes to put the tokens in, really great. And Jasmine got me the frames and the signs, and Ashley had the chairs and the books for the 2Gen book club, and the bookmarks and the flyers, and we had Shannon there and Sharon there and myself and Ashley, and it was a great day. And there are a few takeaways for next year. Just I think we got a lot of foot traffic. We had to stand in front of the table to really kind of, get people engaged, which is fine, and I just sort of started by saying, like, would you like to answer a 1 question survey? And people were like, oh yeah, 1 question, no problem. So, but it was great. So at the end of the day, Ashley and I broke everything down, and we took the paper tokens from each bin, sorted them by the 4 different, resident, non-resident, et cetera, and then tallied them. And so when I got home, I just totaled them up. Let me share my screen.
While Claudia is sharing her screen, I just want to shout out all the work that Claudia and her son did to set up and to break down. Our table looked beautiful. And Claudia and her son did all the setup on their own. That would be breaking down. So a huge thank you to you, Claudia.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, he was great. I'm not sure he knew when I asked for a ride, I'm not sure he knew what he was getting himself into, but that's fine. And there were so many, I do think one thing for next year, we did try, I got balloons and we had a bright tablecloth, but there were so many really, like so many giveaways at every table. I think that's a way to lure people to your table, even like pencils or stickers or something that we could do next year. That said, here, can you all see this? So I just put this together today, so it's not like a gorgeous spreadsheet, but you can see, so here are the issues across the top, and then sorry, wrong. These are the issues down the side. And across the top, we have the different how the tokens, what was on the token. So the resident identifies woman, girl, marginalized gender, resident identifies man, non-resident, non-resident. So we had a total of 240 respondents. And you can see that so the issue totals are here. 73, now I'm lost, I'm sorry. Pay equity, 25 people voted for that. Violence against women, 50, LGBT, 44, reproductive rights, 89, childcare, 33. And then you can see the numbers here based on the how within that kind of category of residency and identity, how people voted. And I'm sure, I want Ashley and Shannon and Sharon to amend, but folks really, lots of people were like, can I vote for more than one? Which is, I know what you all heard at the mental health walk as well. Just, and a lot of really good conversations. Like a lot of people talked about how in Connecticut reproductive rights are really protected, but that's not a given, that will go on forever. And some of the breakdowns too were, as you can see, I think Ashley said a lot of the people were out of town. So you can see, of the non-residents, there were 96 people in this category and 41 in this category. So, and as we know, Pride in the Park does draw from a wide range. I can share this also after the meeting, but so I think, yeah, others who were there, what else would you comment on?
I think, as Ashley said, Claudia, thank you so much for all the setup and being there for the day and roping your son into it. I think our little tokens people thought were giveaways, so they came right on into us, which was great. But yeah, as we, as it was like it was our first go of it. Like you said, just the, eventually I think we'll have a Rubbermaid bin of extra pens and stuff, like you said, the signs and some rocks to hold everything down and the tablecloth, and we'll be, well-oiled machine. I know we've talked about, like, as far as funding goes, I think if we could get at, some little giveaway that we can use everywhere, so we're not putting money into something that's specific to an event. But people really, they were engaged. They wanted to talk, and everybody said these are all such huge topics. So I think that speaks to us, having our finger on the pulse of the community and putting the most important topics out there. So I think for, you know, our first go of it was a success, and we can only just improve from here.
Great. Sharon?
Yeah, if I can add to that, first of all, thank you everyone, and Claudia for all the work you did. I mean, gosh, it was a hot day, and so thank you for setting up and all that and doing all these numbers.
Well, just on the hot day, I forgot to acknowledge Yvonne for that tent, which saved me. So thank you. And thanks for telling me I needed more than one person to set it up. It was great. Thank you. And I know you were leaving the country. Thank you for bringing it to my house too. So, okay, go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, that was awesome. I guess just a couple things when I was there. Most people didn't know about the Commission on the Status of Women. And to those from the outside, from other towns, they thought it was very innovative, and it sort of probably set Norwalk in a really different light and might have inspired other cities and towns. But there was two things that I really started thinking about when I was there, and I'm asking all of you to kind of think about this too, is the first one is, can we rename our commission to be more inclusive? And if so, if you have any ideas, send them my way. I'd be happy to put a list together. Because it was kind of ironic being called the Commission on the Status of Women at Pride in the Park. It is not inclusive language. The second thing that I wanted to mention also, that while I was there, I started thinking about the need to have LGBTQ+ representation on our commission. I think it's really important because we need folks who can guide us, we need their voices. So it's something to think about. And that's it. Thanks.
I was just gonna add on the note that Sharon shared. I also got feedback. Oh, the Women's Commission was at that event. Oh, I didn't, you know, people don't know a lot about the commission. Clearly it was reinstated and active as of last year, right? So I just applaud you all for your efforts in getting out there and being so visible and doing good work. And I think that I saw pictures, and I think you guys did it correctly in terms of people being able to see the different categories from far away on a visual perspective. So just good job in setting up some of those things that can easily go wrong, right? And cause an event or survey not to be successful. I think you guys did a lot of those steps correctly. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. All right, Norwalk Public Library Partnership, Ashley.
Yeah, the books are available at the library. These are the books. And so anyone who heads to the library to pick one up, we're suggesting ages 8 to 12, but certainly a little younger or a little older will also enjoy it. They all have a bookmark in them. I was at the library last Wednesday, not many had been picked up, but it had only just been put in the library e-blast. Vicky gave me 10 copies to bring to Pride in the Park, and we gave away like 5 or 6 of them, which is great. I've added that date, Wednesday, June 28th at 6 p.m. to our sign-up sheet, our document with the tabs at the bottom. There's not really shifts. It would really be, I would say, from like 5:30 to help set up until probably 7:30 at the latest, but I did put a column for bringing a little something. Hopefully amongst us, we can put together a decent little spread of refreshments, since it is kind of at 6 p.m. So it is sort of dinner time. We don't have to provide dinner, but I feel like substantial refreshments. So I'm going to swing back to the library tomorrow or Wednesday to return the few books that we had left and see how they're doing with giving them out. And hopefully there's been some more interest.
Excellent, thank you. Any questions for Ashley? Great. And if you can't come and stay, but you'd like to contribute a refreshment, that's also really welcome.
Yeah, that's a great point, Claudia. I can be around that day to like even come and pick something up from you during that day. School will be over. My son will be at camp. So that's a great point.
Could you guys just send out an email on that? Or I'm sorry if it was documented somewhere else and I missed it, because I'll try to stop by, but I can definitely contribute.
Yeah, I can send another email, and it's in that document that's been going around that had the signups for Pride and the health.
Oh, it's on the tabs of the, got it.
I added
Okay,
a new tab like a few days ago.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Shannon, thank you for asking that. I was about to ask the same thing. The book being available, forgive me, but do we have a flyer on that we could post on our own social media?
We didn't do I made a bookmark, so I can send that around, and you can
Yeah,
certainly share
please.
that. It has all the information. So I'll send the PDF with the bookmark if you'd like to share it around. That would be great.
Michelle, is there anything that would prohibit us from posting that on our own social media?
No, I don't think so, but can you also share with me, Ashley, so I could just take a look? That doesn't mean that you can't post it. I just also want to look at it just in case we can promote on the city side, just learn more about it.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we just lost Yvonne. It looked like her lights went out again. She's out of the country, but I was going to ask her to talk about the updates on the meeting. Oh yeah, she texted me lost power again. Okay. So I'll quickly just give the updates. There were 2 meetings, and just huge kudos to Yvonne for organizing the meeting with Jennifer Barahona, who came to our outreach committee meeting on the 15th of May. And spent, like, it was a really, I think she was with us for like 30-40 minutes or something, and basically just walked through a lot of what Norwalk Acts is doing, what the history is, what they're doing, the kinds of things, what their approach is to obviously like community organizing and a lot of their different partners. And so I think what we basically need to do is at our next outreach committee meeting is kind of revisit some of what she suggested. And we did talk about, I think there's an event actually tomorrow that she mentioned to us, a Civic Engagement 101, but it's right in the middle of the workday. So I don't know, I can't attend, but we did talk about possibly collaborating with them and others, the League of Women Voters. We saw some of those folks at Pride too, and some other groups in terms of sort of a civic engagement event in the fall. So I think we can revisit that at the outreach committee meeting. And then the other, I did have a call with Amanda DeLulis, who I think Shannon or Christina sent me, somebody from the Fairfield Counties Community Foundation suggested that she talk to the commission. So she's with an organization called She Should Run. So I had a brief call with her last Monday, June 5th, and basically it is a national nonpartisan organization, a nonprofit. Their goal, so they further women's leadership and women's leadership potential. And obviously by their name, they encourage women of all ages to get involved in running for office, but a lot that they do way before that, just to get people civically engaged. And their goal is by 2030 to inspire 250,000 women to take the first steps toward public leadership. So they have a lot of like workshops and trainings, and neither she nor I kind of immediately saw a way to collaborate, but we agreed to stay in touch. And she said that if we do like a civic engagement thing, if we do connect high school students, that may be a place where there could be some connection. So anyway, just wanted to follow up on that. Yvonne, while you were waiting for your power to come back on, and thank you for your perseverance, I just gave a quick update on the conversation with Jennifer Barahona that we had, and thank you again for coordinating her to come to the outreach committee, and just thought that we could, at our next outreach committee, kind of revisit that and see where we would want to take that in terms of next steps.
Thanks, Cody.
Yeah. I was going to have you do it, but that was right when you lost your power. So
I know, I lost it twice. But I'm back.
So I didn't say much about that. I don't know if you want to, you don't know.
No, other than, I think the convening is tomorrow, and I don't know if anyone is planning to attend that.
Yeah, I'm not able to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm out of the country, so I won't be able to make it either.
All right, so we can talk more about kind of how to partner with them and the League of Women Voters and the others that we talked about. All right. So the last item under the outreach committee under old businesses are the t-shirts. We have Jasmine's name.
Yes,
there.
and I thought that it was assigned to Jasmine in the agenda, but actually I was the one that was following up. I'm just waiting to get the new logo, and as soon as I get the new logo, I will be able to get the person that will be making them get a design. I will collect in sizes from the whole commission, what size you want on the t-shirt, and we'll get them done. So just waiting for that logo.
Okay, Ron, I'll keep you posted, but that should be right around the first week of July.
Awesome.
Thanks.
That's exciting. Thanks, Yvonne. And also, once we have the logo, I think just like we can get it either like a tablecloth with the name and logo, or the commission's name and logo, or maybe we hold off to see if we change the name. But anyway, that would be, so I ended up for Saturday, I did a sign on a whiteboard, which was not the most permanent way to do it. All right, next is the diversification of boards and commissions committee. So I'll turn it over to you, Sharon.
Okay, just really quick, Christina, Jasmine, and I actually met in person. We had dinner together. We're still putting on, and this wasn't in the notes last time, we're putting together the onboarding and mentorship guide, or maybe that's what they meant, that we hope to pilot within this commission. Realistically, this is going to take us several months to do. We have to research, reach out to people, and put together all the verbiage for it. If you have any ideas on what would make you, to make your onboarding experience better, please email me. I've only heard from one person, but there has to be something that would make it much easier for you when you started here. Secondly, I'm going to
Sharon, can I?
Yep.
Can I add on that point? Can I just add? I think it would be helpful that onboarding, to get that feedback about onboarding, but I think feedback from current commission members who maybe are not as engaged or maybe have come on but left us, if there's a way to sensitively get feedback from them, I think that would be a really important way to inform an onboarding process.
Yes, I can add them to my list. I started reaching out to the community, like to different folks, and I can add a couple more in there. Okay, great. Today I'm going to spotlight the Harbor Management Commission. It's a 9-member commission. As Diana had mentioned, there are 6 men on it and 1 woman. There's 2 vacancies. They provide support to our city in presenting and enhancing the use, vitality, and the quality of life associated with Norwalk Harbor and Long Island Sound. If you guys know anyone who might be a good fit for this, please reach out to them and see if they're interested. They meet once a month on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. on the 4th Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. Okay, 1 second. I believe that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Christina, you have your hand up. Is that from before? Is that okay? Okay. Any comments or questions on anything from that committee report? Okay. Upcoming community events. Michelle.
So I think just as a reminder, Ashley had sent around the 1-year anniversary of Roe being overturned rally on June 24th, that Saturday morning, I think 10 a.m., right, Ashley?
Yeah,
On the green.
10 a.m. on the green. We would love to see everyone out there if you're available. If anyone is interested in speaking, please shoot me an email. And yeah, everything. I sent our little graphic around. If folks don't mind spreading the word, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
And I was just looking up the Juneteenth details to see if I could see who was organizing that event. I'm not sure. I'll keep looking, and as soon as I find anything, I can send it around unless someone else has more information. And Sarah, it sounds like you could use some help on this Sono Arts Festival. So I can do some digging there too.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but you connected me with, is it Irene? No. So, and then they emailed the person who's in charge, but that person never wrote back.
Okay, all right. Yep, I'll email you after this just so we can continue to get a response and more details.
Thank
Any
you.
other events that people need more information on or are curious about that have to do with tabling or otherwise? There's a lot of fun events happening at Calf Fester Beach that we're putting on social media that'll be happening all summer that are irrelevant to our conversations, but definitely great community events, such as the summer concert series every Wednesday starting July 12th. And they're also doing Recreation and Parks are organizing outdoor movie showings. There's 4 of them. The first one, I believe, is June 23rd. So anyway, you'll see that on the city social media too. So outside of all the great work you're doing, I mean, also great ways to engage with the community too, even though there's not tabling opportunities, but exciting.
Thanks, Michelle. So unfortunately, I'm away from the 18th to the 24th, so I would miss both the Juneteenth and the reproductive rights rally on the 24th, but otherwise I would definitely be there. Anyway, good. Okay, anything else before we take a motion to adjourn? No. Okay, well, thank you all for your patience tonight. It's a long meeting, but so is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll move a motion to adjourn.
Okay, thanks, Yvonne. And a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Sharon. And so let's all in favor of adjourning, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Sarah and Shannon, oh, you
I
said
said
aye.
aye.
Okay, got it. Thanks. All right, it was unanimous. So 8:24, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.